Hello, folks. Welcome to my periodic report as your District 3 Grafton County Commissioner. My name is Omer Ahern Jr. I'm presently temporarily living in the town of Wentworth, New Hampshire, and I am the District 3 Grafton County Commissioner serving the towns of southeastern Grafton County up towards Campton and Wentworth and Warren and Dorchester and over to Canaan, Grafton, and down to Bristol and Alexandria and Holderness, and of course Holderness, Plymouth, and Hebron. And I'm one of 3 county commissioners. I serve with the District 1 County Commissioner, Commissioner Wendy Piper from Enfield, New Hampshire. She serves the city of Lebanon and the towns of Hanover and Enfield. And Commissioner Piper is the clerk of the County Commission. And then we also serve with Commissioner Linda Lauer, who is the County Commissioner from District 2, and she serves the towns in the western and northern part of the county. And again, Commissioner Lauer is the chairman of the Board of Commissioners. And together we are responsible for the operation and the management of the Grafton County home, nursing home, Department of Corrections, and the farm. And we meet every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock at the county facility up at 3855 Dartmouth College Highway in North Haverhill. And I'm going to report on 2 meetings very quickly. We met on June 19th at 9 o'clock, and the commissioners met with Human Services Administrator Nancy Bishop, the Maintenance Superintendent Jim Oakes, and Grant Administrator. County applies for several grants during the course of the year, CDBG grants, Community Development Block grants, to help out small businesses in Grafton County. And Pat Garvin is normally the grant administrator. She puts in a bid along with other folks who are given an opportunity to bid to administer those grants. So we had a report from her, and as well we had a visit from the Grafton County Regional Development Commission Executive Director Ann Duncan Cooley, who hails from the town of Orford. And Human Services Administrator Nancy Bishop gives her report as to the reimbursement from folks that receive care from the county that have money. And Nancy is very, very good. She's a one-person department, and she is very much managing hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money and money that comes in from the state of New Hampshire. So we appreciate the good job that Human Services Administrator Nancy Bishop does for us. Then we had Jim Oakes come in. Jim Oakes is the maintenance supervisor for the county, and he made his monthly report to us on June 19th. The big project that we're working on right now is the Forest Main Sewer Project, which is to remove the sewage from the county complex. Flows into the town of Woodsville's sewer system. But because of the corrosive nature of the soil there at the county complex, due primarily because the county used to burn coal in the 1800s and the early 1900s, therefore making the soil that the sewer lines are set in very, very corrosive. We spend a lot of money, according to Mr. Oakes, on the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning equipment that we have in our different buildings there, the nursing home, the House of Correction, the county courthouse, and the administration building. And that is an ongoing problem for us. When you see the number of HVAC repairs that he's making in the nursing home and the administration building, it's very, very disheartening to see all of those things. We also had a report about the Farm and Forestry Day that we had last Saturday at the county home. And that was well attended. We feel we had about 600 people attending. The weather forecast for that day was not good. It was for rain, so we feel about another 600 people did not show up. But people had a chance to see the vegetable gardens and the vegetable fields that are growing. They all got a chance to see the dairy herd, our nationally award-winning dairy herd that I've talked about over the last few weeks. They could see the piggery operation that we have there. And a lot of the kids saw the little piglets running around. They were all very excited. We also have chickens up there. But we got a report from Pat Garvin also on the results of the Community Development Block Grant money that the county administers and the number of jobs that are created with new businesses and existing businesses. And these are jobs that are provided to low-income folks. And I think she was saying that we're going to, by the end of this fiscal year, which is going to be over in about 2 days, that we will have created 10 new jobs through this Community Development Block Grants. Also, last Tuesday, we had a telephone interview with the producer, Anthony Davis, from the On Demand TV program about perhaps doing some promotional videos for Grafton County that would appear on PBS and Fox News. But after looking at the cost of that to the county, even though it seems to be nonprofit oriented, the cost to the county was pretty much not going to make it something that would be cost effective or cost viable for Grafton County. Again, we had the Farm and Forestry Exposition or Open Barn Day on Saturday that I thought was very well. The New Hampshire Commissioner of Agriculture, Sean Jasper, came up and visited our operation and seemed to be very impressed with what we had. It was a good day. If you weren't able to make it that day, we'll probably have another open barn or Farm and Forestry Day, probably a couple of years in the future, because it does take a lot of work to prepare for that Farm and Forestry Day. However, if you would like to have a tour of the farm at any time, we do provide tours. You just need to call the farm ahead of time, and they can make arrangements to give you a tour of the farm. And also, I'm sure the county forester, Jim Frone, would be very pleased to give you a tour of our county woodlands. On Tuesday of this week, June 26th, we met again, and the first item on the agenda was, again, Mr. Oakes, Jim Oakes from the Maintenance Department, our maintenance superintendent, and he requested of the county commissioners to purchase LED lights, which are very energy-saving lights, to put those into the Department of Corrections, replacing some of the older lights that are there that use up a lot of electricity. And he had some money that was left over, he feels, from his 2018 fiscal year budget that gets over the 1st of July. And he wanted permission to waive the bidding process in order to purchase about $14,000 worth of LED lights. He had gone out and he had priced the lights with several different vendors here in New Hampshire and Vermont, and also with the Granger company. So we unanimously approved waiving the bidding process so that he could purchase those LED lights. And not only in the Department of Correction, but also in the nursing home parking lots. After that, we heard a very lengthy report, detailed report from Mr. Brent Ruggles, who is the IT manager. And Mr. Ruggles gives us a very detailed report showing what he does in order to keep what I call the glue of the county complex together. The computers, the software problems that we have in all the departments. The county attorney's office every month has a lot of issues with the software and the hardware that they have there. We have Department of Corrections setting up new accounts for the new hires in the Department of Corrections. replaced 8 old computers at the Department of Corrections. There are 6 more to be replaced. He had to completed the medical coordination system to connect the pharmacy to the pharmacy used by the Department of Corrections. Resolved issues with creating reports from inmate software. Issues had to do were due to conflict in the default program setting. So Mr. Ruggles is very familiar with all of that, and he does a great job. One thing, if you're interested in seeing a copy of this detailed report and all of the reports that we get from our department heads, they are indeed on the Grafton County, New Hampshire website. All you have to do is Google the New Hampshire Grafton County website, and you will see the minutes. It's about a 2-week lag for the minutes to be put on the website, but eventually they do get there. Again, about a 2-week lag time. So you'll be able to see the full report from Mr. Ruggles on our minutes that are online. We also had a report from Mr. Elliott, Tom Elliott, the Department of Corrections Superintendent. Again, that's the Department of Corrections, which is the jail for pretrial confinement and the House of Correction for those who have been sentenced by our court system to less than a year and a day in the House of Correction. We have a 150-bed facility, which was constructed brand new about 8 years ago. And we have 5 pods or units that are there. One unit is the male medium unit. We have a female unit, which right now we are also housing 4 female inmates from Coos County. We have the male minimum sentenced unit, and then we have the male maximum sentenced unit. We also have an intake unit where there are 3 people in there. The in-house population, when we got this report on June 26, is 82 inmates. We have 33 inmates out of facility. We have, under the Community Corrections Report, we have 9 folks that are on electronic monitoring. That is, they are outside the facility, but they have ankle bracelets on. We have, through the FIRM project, which is designed to help inmates, both pretrial and sentenced, to deal with the issues that have brought them into contact with our criminal justice system, whether it's drug-related. Normally it's drug-related. What can we do to work with our LADAC people and our medical people in the Department of Corrections to help these people make some better decisions in their lives? And that's what this FIRM program is all about. Operation Impact, Sergeant Larson has been in charge of that. And today, Thursday, the 29th of June, we had a retirement party for Sergeant Larson. Sergeant Larson is retiring from the Grafton County Department of Corrections after 30 years of faithful, dedicated service to the people of Grafton County. And a lot of the work that Sergeant Larson has done over the last 20 years or so is working with young people, the schools, going out to the schools and talking about drug abuse and bullying and other topics that really weigh heavily on our young people and sometimes cause them to get into trouble with the law. So by Sergeant Larson going out into the community, we're trying to alleviate some of these problems that bring our young people into our correctional facility. So we're very, very sad, at least I'm very sad to see Sergeant Larson retire, but again, he will be sorely missed. Another special event that we had today, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, I'll get back to the minutes of the 26th of June, but I just don't want to forget, today was the Volunteer Appreciation Day, to recognize the people who come into the nursing home and volunteer their time. We were advised that we receive about 1,700 hours last year of volunteer time in the nursing home. And sometimes this will involve people bringing in their pets, their dog, and it's something that's very much appreciated by the residents of the nursing home. We county commissioners really appreciate the work that the volunteers do in coming in. So today we had a little luncheon, gave out some awards, and we tried to show our appreciation to these folks. And those of you out there who are looking for an opportunity to give back to your community, we're always looking for volunteers at the Grafton County Nursing Home. And if you're interested in that, you can certainly go and get a hold of the volunteer department. Doreen Moody is our person who's in charge of the volunteer program, and you can get a hold of her at the Grafton County Nursing Home. Go to the website, Google Grafton County, New Hampshire Nursing Home, and you'll be able to make arrangements if you would like to volunteer there. The need is very, very great, and so if you're willing, we would appreciate that. Also, the community work program, Sergeant Griffin supervises the work crews. They were in Landaff at the fire station, and then they were at Horse Meadow Senior Center doing some work there. So we appreciate the work that Sergeant Griffin does with the inmates who are trustworthy enough to be out in the community providing some of this work for some nonprofits that otherwise would not be able to have this work done on their properties. The Grafton County Department of Corrections now has a new Facebook page, a municipal Facebook page. So it's to shed light on what a corrections officer's duties are at the correctional facility, in case somebody's interested in finding out more what it's like to work as a corrections officer. It looks like the farm stand garden will be opening around the 4th of July, and I was just advised today that our summer squash and zucchini squashes are probably going to be the first fruits of the garden from this year. We also had a pretty sobering conversation with the superintendent of the Department of Corrections about how the opioid crisis is affecting us here in Grafton County, and the number of inmates who, basically all of the inmates in our correctional facility are involved with illegal drugs in one form or another, or are committing crimes in order to get illegal drugs. And it's just a very sobering conversation about what is going on in our society that causes so many of our young people to come into contact with the criminal justice system. Sometimes they are sentenced to the court, sentenced through the courts to the Department of Corrections. Sometimes they are diverted through the alternative sentencing program, which I have talked about over the last few months that I've been talking with you here. And one of the things that Superintendent Elliott just wanted to warn us about is that methamphetamines is now coming back to being a big, big problem in our communities here in Grafton County. Also, with regard to Sergeant Larson, just want to let you know that Sergeant Rachel Harness, Harness, will be taking over Sergeant Larson's duties as the Operation Impact supervisor for Grafton County. The county commissioners on June 26 also approved getting involved with a class action lawsuit. One of the counties out in Utah determined and found that the federal government was not paying what it should be paying in terms of its payments in lieu of taxes. We have quite a bit of federal forest land here in Grafton County, and the federal government has agreed to make payments in lieu of taxes under a federal statute, but it has been determined by a federal judge that the federal government has not been paying its fair shares. So Grafton County was notified that they have this opportunity to become a part of this class action, also known as a class suit. And so the commissioners voted to become a part of that class action. There may not be a lot of money involved, but it's money, it probably in the $5,000 range, but it shouldn't cost us a lot of money to be part of this class action. We also approved the Memorandum of Understanding between Grafton County and the University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension Service so that we can continue to provide housing, for lack of a better word, for the folks from UNH Cooperative Extension who provide such wonderful service for our residents here in Grafton County. We have the county forester, Jim Frone. We have the vegetable expert, Heather Bryant. We have a food safety person, Mary Saucier Choate. And then we have Donna Lane, who is the 4-H liaison, and Michael Lunak, who is the dairy specialist for the state of New Hampshire. His office is in our complex here up in North Haverhill. And so we're very pleased that we can have this memorandum of understanding, be able to receive these folks working in our county. We do provide, as I said, we provide the housing, the office space and the utilities, and we do provide, I believe, one office staff person for them. One of the other things that we were talking about on the 26th of June was the union contract with the folks that work in our nursing home. And the amount of dues that a person working under the union contract, the dues are $16.50 per pay period. There are about 2 pay periods per month. And so that money comes out of folks that want to belong to the union at this point in time, and that comes out of their paycheck, $16.50 per pay period. If somebody only wants to be a member of the collective bargaining unit and not actually be a member of the union, that fee is $8.25 per pay period. So it's about $16.50 a month to be a member of the collective bargaining unit, and about $33 to be a member of the union. And most of the union employees are employed in the nursing home, LNAs, dietary, housekeeping, and the laundry. I'm not sure how the United States Supreme Court order that came down yesterday is going to affect that union dues contract or union contract at Grafton County, but I am looking into that. On Monday of this past week, the 25th of June, the county delegation did pass the county budget, but before doing so, before passing it, they added another $24,600 into the budget to refund the beautician services at Grafton County. The beautician was going to continue to still work there, but she was going to be receiving her fee for services from the individual residents of the nursing home. And we talked about that the last time I was here. So, in essence, the taxes in Grafton County are going to go up just under 4%. And that may not be what you're going to see for an increase in your taxes on your part of the county budget in your tax bill when you get it, because it's going to vary from town to town. So the county budget for the year, fiscal year 2019, is going to be $44,221,881, plus or minus a few dollars if I did my adding right. $44,221,881. Of that amount of money, $26,103,876, plus or minus a few dollars, is the amount to be raised by taxes among the taxpayers here in the county of Grafton. And because of the few changes that the county delegation made on Monday at their delegation meeting, will be a few revisions to the budget pamphlet that I've been showing to you off and on for the last couple of months. That's pretty much my report for now. We have a very important federal holiday coming up, Independence Day on July 4th. We have a lot to be thankful for to our founding fathers who made it possible for us to live in this wonderful country we call the United States of America, with all of the freedoms and the liberty that we enjoy. We want to make sure on Independence Day, July 4th, that we thank our veterans and their families, the men and women who served us so faithfully over the years. Pretty much now they're World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and now the Middle Eastern veterans. We owe so much to them. I don't know how we can ever repay these men and women for their service to this great country, but I want to thank them for their service. And if you're a veteran and you're listening to me, please accept my heartfelt thanks to you for your service. May God bless you and your family. That is about it for my talk today. Again, if you want to contact me, Commissioner Omer Ahern Jr., my email address is omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. My phone number in Wentworth is 603-764-6024. And I look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. And in the meantime, may God bless the great state of New Hampshire, and may God bless America. Thank you, and happy Independence Day.